Good morning, everyone. I'm going to talk to you about this transformation that is going on in our industry. And this is absolutely no doubt that we are in this transformation. Valeo is accelerating on multiple fronts to play its full part and to be a leading player, especially in the electrification of mobility. I'm very much aware that some voices are concerned about this transformation. They object that this car is going to be more expensive. They say that there will be consequences for employment. They are worried that there will not be enough raw material to achieve this transformation, or not enough electricity, or that the electricity is not green. They fear that there will not be enough charging stations, or they object that tax revenues based on fuel will disappear. They say, for some of that this transformation only makes us more dependent on Asia. So let me respond to this concern. Yes, this transformation is difficult, very difficult. And the only way forward is to acknowledge it, is to accept it, and it's to move forward. And we must never forget why we are doing it, why we must face this challenge and work on it. The goal is neither to create purchasing power. The goal is not to create jobs. We are doing it to fight global warming and to preserve the planet. We are doing it because the world must decarbonize, and we have a major role to play in this challenge. The carbon footprint of road transportation represents 18% of global CO2 emission. So it's urgent. It's urgent that we act now if we want to keep global warming below 1.5 degrees C. Recently a journalist told me, you at Valeo, you are promoting the electric car because it's in your interest, it's in Valeo's interest. Well, I thought it was a joke. It was serious. Not at all, not at all. The reasoning must be completely reversed. Valeo has invested a lot in research, in development, in electrification, because we are absolutely convinced about the necessity of this transformation. It's not the interest of Valeo, it's the interest of the planet, it's in the interest of its inhabitants, which are, by the way, we, our kids, and the generations that will come after. So yes, this transformation is difficult. It is going to be very difficult because it requires many players to be ready at the same time. So it involves a full ecosystem of actors, which are ranging from, the mines, energy companies, states, cities, motorway concessions, and of course the industrial companies, of course the car manufacturers, of course the tier ones. This whole ecosystem must move as quickly as possible. We are in the automotive industry here, so let me take a race as a metaphor. Everybody's running, except that our race is a very special one. Because this race is not, in 2035, going to be judged on the speed of the first to cross the finish line. It's going to be based on the speed of the last one, as you could read on the screen. So it is the responsibility of all the players to run and go as fast as possible. And those who refuse to take part in this race will be in serious trouble. I think it's a question of survival at the end of the day. This transformation will be Darwinian. I said it's going to be difficult. I'm reading a lot of articles that say they seek to oppose the car manufacturers and the suppliers. I don't see it that way. There will not be, in my mind, a dividing line separating the car manufacturers, that will take everything on their side, and the tier ones on the other side. In my mind, that's not the way it's going to happen. It will separate the manufacturers and the equipment suppliers who are ready for this transformation on the one hand, and on the other hand, those car manufacturers and suppliers that are not prepared. I'm sorry to say, but for those that are not prepared today, it's already too late. So let's be frank, it's going to be extremely shaky. So if you liked 2020, 2021, 2022, then you're going to love the next 10 years. There will be more crises, there will be more turbulences. They will demand a strong capacity to adapt, and to adapt extremely quickly. So we must accept, I think we must accept this turbulence to come as the new normal and as a reflection of this great transformation that has already begun. So I can announce it, there will be more supply shortages in the years to come, because the materials that are used in a decarbonized world are not the ones that we were using before, not in the same quantity. And there will be more inflation. There will be more inflation because decarbonized production cost more. The cost of raw material has already increased 3 times compared to 2019. We need to act with courage. We need to be agile, and we need to stand as one, including in the filière. It will be essential qualities to absorb all the shocks that are going to come as part of this transformation. And these are the qualities that have been, as a proof, mandatory for the success of our transformation at Valeo, which is, of course, not yet complete, but largely achieved. Let me speak more about Valeo. Valeo has been preparing for more than 10 years for this transformation. We play our part to the fullest by applying the technological talent of our teams to develop cleaner mobility. And we do it through high performance, through affordable, not affordable enough, electric mobility technologies and material saving solutions. Remember our first stop-start systems, it was in 2004, to the latest products that we have now. Valeo has become a key player. We have become an essential enabler in this acceleration and democratization of electric mobility. All our strategic decisions are part of this ambition, as shown by the recent and the complete integration of Valeo Siemens e-automotive within Valeo. In concrete terms, what does making mobility cleaner mean at our scale? It means making electric mobility more efficient, whether it's through high voltage electrification technologies, or 48-volt technologies, or thermal management technologies for electric cars. For Valeo, we have a next generation inverter that's coming. It's the brain of the electric motor, and it will have a 5% improvement in efficiency, increasing the vehicle's range by as much. And to go even further, we are collaborating. We don't do everything by ourselves. We're collaborating with the CEA in France, on advanced research into innovative power electronics. We aim to improve the electric vehicle efficiency. We aim to increase the driving range and to reduce the weight of onboard power electronics. And in order to make the electric mobility even more efficient, we work on e-thermal systems because they are key. And our e-thermal systems, what are they doing? They optimize the lifetime of the batteries to preserve their autonomy and to ensure a higher charging speed. Let me take an example, because no one should have to choose between autonomy and thermal comfort. So same as in building, we are developing smart heat pump technologies to allow for 25% more autonomy in winter in an electric car. And it's more compact for better integration in the car. You can see it on the screen. Our customers are recognizing our experience and expertise in that field. We have already signed this year over 4 billion euros of contracts for e-thermal systems for electric cars, including a new record order intake with Stellantis. So our job is not only to develop the best technologies, it's also to make them affordable, accessible to the greatest number of people, with many solutions that are affordable enough, adapted to the users and to the needs of the individuals. We've been a pioneer and a world leader in 48-volt technologies. The main advantage of 48-volt technologies, it's the electrification of the cars at the lowest cost. As well, it enables the emergence of different forms of electric mobility. In France, a good example is the success of the Citroën Ami. It's, I think, a true success. It's a 48-volt electric motor. It's produced in one of our plants in the north of France, in Étampes-sur-Mer. And this 48-volt technology, what does it do? It enables us to equip all forms of electric mobility. Bicycles, scooters, motorbikes, three-wheelers, and even new forms of mobility, such as the small robotaxi or the delivery droids that will come. So more generally, our French industrial and R&D teams are at the very forefront of this transformation. Let me repeat some numbers. France is 15% of the Valeo sales. It's more than 40% of our 2 billion euro R&D yearly investment. And it continues to be a territory where Valeo invests significantly, with more than 14% of our investment this year. So we're meeting this challenge of cleaner mobility, while at the same time limiting our environmental impact and ensuring the circular economy. We have, of course, to walk the talks in our plants. Our goal is to contribute to carbon neutrality through 2050, and by 2030, we will have cut 45% of our total emissions compared to 2019. And this includes emissions that are linked to our factories, our manufacturing processes, our energy supply. This is what we call scope 1 and 2. But this is also the emissions linked to our suppliers, emissions linked to the end use of our technologies. This is what we call scope 3. And that, you can imagine, it implies an in-depth transformation for a group like us. For example, 2030, low-carbon energies will account for 80% of our energy consumption, compared to just 5% in 2019. And we must also ensure that the technologies that we develop consume the least amount of material possible, taking into account, what was said this morning, the scarcity of resources ahead. This year, all the resources, that the Earth can generate will be already used, by July 28th. So we have to act. And if we don't act now, this date, we know it will come, sooner and sooner in the year. So it is in this spirit that we have developed a partnership with Renault, thank you, Luca, through which we will co-develop and we will produce in France an electric motor made entirely without rare earth materials. In 2027, we will be the first, together with Renault, to mass produce a 200 kilowatt, 800 volt electric motor without any rare earth. Let me take a more general approach of how we contribute to the circular economy, ensuring that each of our technologies brings the 4 fundamental benefits that we call the 4 R's. You know, it's robust design, it's remanufacturing, it's repairability, and it's recyclability. And clearly, we are going to accelerate further in this area. Today, we are already remanufacturing 1 million products every year. Let me take an example. A remanufactured Valeo alternator reuse more than 90% of its original product. It allows 80% reduction in carbon footprint compared to a similar new product with a guarantee of the same quality, the same performance at the end of the day. By 2030, we will double this volume of remanufactured products to 2 million products per year. Our teams are also actively working on the development of a repair service for complex electronic parts in cars, so that one defective electronic component does not imply to replace everything. So finally, we are striving to go even further in the recyclability of our products, opening up new horizons, pushing the boundaries of what is possible. I think we demonstrated in 2022 with the use of 100% recycled polycarbonate in headlamps for the first time, and 100% recycled polypropylene in our HVAC. A year ago, it was said to be absolutely impossible. So as you can see, we are playing our part in contributing to the transformation of this sector. I think it's not just one transformation ahead. There's 2 transformations ahead. And alongside the acceleration of electrification, there's another acceleration going on, which is the one of driving assistance systems that will make the safety on the road improved. And Valeo is the world leader in this field. It equips more than 1 out of 3 new cars with driving assistance sensors, systems, and software. This is why Valeo has been investing for 12 years in a brand new technology which is called LiDAR. It's a true technological jewel that will help save lives. It sees what cameras, what radars cannot see. 2 transformations. Neither transformation can take precedence over the other. Both subjects, electric and safety, are essential and must be pursued simultaneously. This is what we are doing. This dual transformation at Valeo will continue. We will continue to grow, we'll continue to recruit, we'll continue to train talents around this world to make sure we meet these 2 transformations. Our sector has a unique opportunity, and we all have tremendous responsibility to be the player of this unprecedented transformation of our sector. It's a transformation, let's remember it every day, difficult, but for a better world. It's a transformation for a lifetime. So we have to work together, hand in hand, customers, suppliers, in an even closer and coordinated manner to bring this transformation together and to meet the challenge of these major societal issues in front of us. Thank you for your listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Christophe. Please join me for a few questions. Very nice presentation, very nice words, but at the same time, some of the words you used were quite tough. When you talked about the revolution, you talked about Darwinism, you said it's going to be shaky. There's going to be a lot of turbulences in this universe. How will the suppliers come out of this transformation period? Do you think that many companies will be left alone on the road and just at the end there will be a a few suppliers that will be bigger and stronger? The industry will be totally transformed by this transformation road, in a sense?
I have to say, unfortunately, yes. This is what I think is going to happen. This is what I said, in my speech. This transformation is not. It was the words of Luca. It's not a Kaizen thing. It's not a step by step. It's a total transformation of our industry. And you have two kinds of companies. You have the companies that have been preparing themselves and have developed the right technologies, the right products. They will survive. They will be here in 10 years. And you have the companies that have not prepared themselves. It's true for OEMs. It's true for tier ones. It's true for tier 2, tier 3, tier N. Those that have not prepared themselves, unfortunately, I think it's too late. I'm sorry, it's not good news for part of the industry, but I think we need to face the reality as it will be. And we have to have the courage to look at what's going to happen. The electric car is coming. There's an acceleration of electrification every single day. And the only way is to structure the industry around companies that will be, at the end of the day, the players of this industry.
The bigger you are, maybe you don't have so much agility, but you have the scale and the resources to transform. Are you particularly worried maybe for the tier 2, tier 3? How can they adapt? Because you have to invest a lot. Does it mean that actually the industry will concentrate a lot, you think, among a fewer players, but that the lower players will have difficulties to transform themselves, or they can reinvent themselves also at a lower scale?
I think everybody can reinvent itself. I think there's hope for all. We've been very much criticized in 2017, 2018, when we had the kind of double penalty of continuing to do research and development for our customers on the, let's say, legacy products, because they were cars, they were business, they were projects, so we had to spend money. And at the same time, we put a lot of money developing the first inverter, the first motor, the first reducer, the first front camera, the first LiDAR. So we had the double penalty at that time. And there was a lot of doubt or criticism, that we were spending too much. But we knew what we were doing. We knew that it was at that time that we needed to put really money on the table to emerge as one of the key players of electrification. And I think we are today. Is the market going to consolidate? If you're talking about M&A, I don't know. I cannot say what's going to happen. But are more orders coming today to less suppliers? I think yes. I think we're already seeing this kind of consolidation. I think what we call the order intake, it means the amount of projects that our customers are sourcing to us has never been so high in the first semester of 2022. And I said there's a tremendous commercial momentum as well in the second semester of 2022. So altogether in 2022, I think Valeo will enjoy a record level of order intake, which is a form of consolidation. More orders are coming to the ones that our customers believe will be still strong in 10 years.
On the car manufacturer side, the impression we have is that this move to electric cars will be an opportunity for Chinese manufacturers to accelerate and maybe to gain market shares in Europe. Is the same transformation going to happen on the supplier side? Is this an opportunity for new players to emerge on the world scale, or it's not as obvious in the suppliers as it is in the OEM?
It's not so obvious. Maybe I would like to comment on what you said on China, because there's a lot of buzz, in this Mondial about Chinese coming with good electric cars, BYD, and they have a lot of cars.
The CEO of BYD will have a source later this morning.
And we're working for all customers in all continents. So we're working for BYD as well. Let me say the way I analyze it. The Chinese market is the largest in the world. 1/3 of the cars are produced in China for the Chinese market. And this is the market where the adoption rate of electric cars is the highest. 17% of 2022 sales in China will be electric. So when you combine the highest adoption rate and the largest market, you end up with the largest market for electric cars. And actually, in the world in 2022, there will be more than 8 million electric cars produced in the world. Half of them will be in China. 4 million cars out of 8 will be produced in China electric. What does it mean? It means that if we want to be strong in Europe for the electric filière, we have to accelerate. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be shaky. There will be problems here or there. But the world is becoming electric. China is becoming electric. So the only way to be strong in Europe is to go to the electric market as quickly as possible.
So as a supplier, you have to sell in China as well.
Of course. But then, in Europe, we'll have the volumes that are so important to compete in terms of affordability, in terms of scale. It was said by Luca before, scale is important. If we are not scaling in Europe in electric, then we'll have a small market in Europe and a very large one in China, because China is going electric. So is this what we want? I don't think this is what we want. This is one more reason, besides global warming, to go as fast as possible in electrification in Europe in order to create this scale effect. That's the best advantage that we have in order to compete with the Chinese industry that's going full electric.
A few years ago, the buzzword in the auto industry was maybe autonomous driving, more than electrification. Today we speak more about electrification, but autonomous driving, do you think it was a hype? We talked too much about it a few years ago, and now it seems that there's less excitement, that of course the cars are a bit safer but are not autonomous. Will there be autonomous car, you think, in the near future, or do you think it will just be safer cars with some key new elements, but not robot taxi in a sense?
Well, I think the industry has made a mistake to communicate on full coming autonomy in a few years, and there were a lot of announcements and articles, and therefore there has been a lot of disappointment. I think it was a mistake. It doesn't mean that there's not today a very significant momentum on what we call ADAS, Advanced Driving Assistance Systems. There is a tremendous momentum on ADAS as far as Valeo, and we are, as I said, world leader on that. I've never seen such amount of orders coming for ADAS, because ADAS is improving safety significantly. So it's going to come, and it's coming. Now, the last step, the last...
Level 5, I think, the Pro is...
Well, let's start with level 3. Level 3 is already a part of autonomy. And it's coming. Finally, it's coming. You have 2 cars in the world that have been approved as level 3. You have the Honda Legend, which is in Japan, and you have the Mercedes S and EQS class in Germany. So both in Germany and in Japan, you have today the regulator that has approved these cars under certain conditions to be driven autonomously. It means you are authorized on a German motorway under certain conditions of speed, daylight, and so on. You are authorized to delegate the driving to your car.
But not to fall asleep.
You are authorized to fall asleep.
You can fall asleep.
You are authorized to, you are authorized to write an article. You're authorized to read a good novel. You're authorized to fully delegate. You don't have to touch your wheel, your steering wheel, every 30 seconds to show that you are, attentive. You are really authorized to do that. But it's certain conditions. But that's the first step. And by the way, there's one common characteristic to these 2 cars, the unique cars level 3 in the world. The common characteristics of these 2 cars is they have one sensor in common. It's the LiDAR, the one I showed.
By Valeo.
And it's a LiDAR by Valeo, absolutely.
But mass market for those kind of level 3, you think it's going to take, what, 10 years now?
For level 3, I think pretty much all OEMs today from what I see of the RFQs we receive on LiDAR, okay? Because in order to have a level 3, we believe you need a LiDAR. We're seeing now many requests for information and requests for quotation on LiDAR products. So we expect to take significant orders on LiDAR in 2023, which shows that, you know, the OEMs have in their plan, in their roadmap, a level 3 car, something like 2026, 27. But again, it will be under certain conditions of drive.
Highway on a sunny day.
At the beginning. But this is the way it starts.
A question on inflation. There is today's inflation, which is linked to a current situation, but there is also the inflation linked to innovation. A LiDAR, I think, is not free. It's an expensive equipment. When you look at the equation, how do you think the industry will be able to cope with this inflation, both short term and maybe longer term?
This is exactly what Lucas said, very rightly before me. We invented in, I think it was in 1997, we invented the parking sonar, you know, the beep beep. It was launched on the BMW 7 Series.
Quite expensive, yeah.
If I had been, you know, at the Mondial in 1998, you would have asked me exactly this question. It was expensive. It was BMW 7 Series, and it was considered as not affordable and not accessible. Today, you have this beep beep on every single car in the world, and I think we're producing like between 100 million and 150 million of these sensors on a yearly basis. I hope we'll have the same success on the LiDAR. It starts with, you know, expensive product because there's no scale, there's no volume. But when the scale is there, when the volume is there, then the price is going to decrease and there will be an adoption rate that will grow. This is why, you know, I re-promote electrification in Europe as a way
to fight
absolutely against these imports of Chinese cars.
Thank you very much, Christophe. Thank you, Valeo, for being here at this summit. Thank you.
Thank you.